What up, everybody, man? Y'all know what time it is. It's Man Cave Unplugged. When y'all see me by myself, what's happening? Appreciate y'all jumping on. Check us out. Hey, man, I'm going to jump right in it because this interview I got today, I know this brother real busy, man. Look, simply put, a great cat. I met him through another group and just was watching him from the sideline, seeing the work that he was doing. And I had to latch on to this brother because I had some questions about writing a book. And I saw what he was doing, helping people write their books. He a two-time author. The Thirst is Real. His latest book, full of that heat. I'm like, yo, when I say he brought that heat, y'all, he brought that heat. He'll be able to help you on your darkest days. And we're going to talk about Geos Gems. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. And we're going to just try to get y'all some tips and a little bit of help to either get you starting writing your book or get your next book done. So, man, y'all help me. Welcome to the stage, author coach, two-time author and speaker, Geo Derice. Man, what's happening? What's happening, Geo?
What's good, man? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man.
And Texas, right? Texas is where we at?
Yeah, man. Hey, I heard it in the desert, camel wrapped in wool.
That's what I heard. I heard you guys are feeling it, man.
So, man, welcome to the Man Cave, bro. I'm
yes, sir.
Super excited to have you. So I can put it in context. Like, Geo was one of those people I had on my list of people that I felt was kind of untouchable, but I still wanted to interview. And I was scared to hit the send button. I hit it anyway, and he answered me, and I'm like, holy cow, man, the dude hit me back like, what? And here we go, man. So
oh, no, that's dope, man. That's dope. I appreciate you.
Oh, man, we appreciate you, man. And I know you got a course coming up. You're in the middle of one right now. And that's kind of what I wanted to just kind of dive right in from the jump. How to get your first book done.
Yeah.
I know when I came across you, man, it was I guess you were kind of becoming more of who you are. And then you dropped this fire course, dude. You dropped that fire. So tell us about it, man. Like, what's up with it?
Yeah, man. I've been doing this stuff of helping people write books for like 5 years and under the radar. So I really didn't publicly tell anybody I do that until this year. I guess like everybody act brand new during the pandemic. I guess that was my version of it. So I went ahead and I put it out, but we've done like 49 books. I think that by the end of the month, we'll be at 50 that we've helped self-publish so far. And this is from a guy who never liked reading growing up, so to me, it's a complete 180. So anybody who's listening to this and is like, yo, I never will, you better be careful what you say. I went from I never will to like I read all day long. I'm always reading several books at the same time. And I've just been enjoying the process of helping people put their stuff out there. And so the idea of the whole the course, the system that I have is called First Book Done System. And the idea behind it is if I can get you to write your first book, you have this system in place, then you can go ahead and duplicate it. So many of us, the reason why we don't write is because we're trying to pick which one to write first. It's almost like you trying to pick which one is your favorite child. Like they all your favorite. So because you don't want to diss one book idea, so you just kind of stay frozen. Like I'm sitting on so many ideas I don't know. And one of the things that I tell people is like, let me free you up from this anxiety and let you know that you're going to write more than one book. So stop trying to worrying about the pressure of let me go and write everything that I've ever known in life in one book. It ain't supposed to be in one book. So you got permission to write the second one. So the only thing that we got to worry about is can we get that first one? Because the first one, no one will forget it. So we want to make sure that at the very least, when you coming out to the world, that you're positioning yourself for where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. What do you want to be known for? that's really setting the stage. And then the future books are gonna be like the nails is like the nails that keeps the picture hung up. You know, so if you look like a guy like a John Maxwell, who a lot of people call the father of leadership, the reason why he's the father of leadership is because he's probably written like 50 books on it. Right. You know, but he had to start with that first one, and then he just started creating different variations of it. Leadership for youth, leadership for church leaders, leadership for this, how to talk as a leader, how to think as a leader, how to be successful like a leader, and it just became leader. But it had to start with that first book. So the biggest thing that I've done with this course, and we've just started our cohort, we're in week number 4 right now. It's been absolutely amazing with the cohort that I'm in with and leading, is the idea of these are people who are birthing books that are going to change people's lives. And I spoke to you when we spoke individually. If you're writing your book just to check a box off, the amount of work you're gonna have to put in ain't worth it, man. To go and say, yo, I just want to be an author just for the heck of it. Find something else to go and boost your ego. But if you really want to go and do something that's going to serve people, your book could be that. Your book, the way I coin it, is a service. It's your give back to society. What are you leaving back? And again, the beautiful thing about a book is its legacy. So when you think about Napoleon Hill wrote the book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill has not walked on this earth for years, yet his book is still impacting people today. He did that work one time, but that work has outlived him. So the beauty of a book is that you're creating something that will outlive you. That's the beauty of it. It's not a one-time thing. It's literally like a landmark. It's one of those things that literally will stay and attach with you for the rest of your life. So I wrote The Thirst is Real back in 2014. That has continued to go with me. When I wrote Geos Gems, people were buying The Thirst is Real because they start looking at your catalog. They're like, yo, what else this dude got? And so now there's a residual effect because of what you have. So I'm here to tell you that your first book is going to create, it's like that first domino. You may have 100 dominoes lined up, but those other 100, the other 99 don't matter if you don't get that one to go fall forward first. And so the whole course is designed to give people all the answers. Because I feel, if we're honest, there are so many questions about putting a book out, and it goes beyond just what you write. It's how do I publish? Do I self-publish? Do I traditionally publish? Is my stuff, does anybody want to know what I'm saying? Why would somebody else want to hear what I got to say? Everybody's been talking about motivation. They've talked about inspiration. They've talked about mindset. They've talked about changing your perspective. Who the heck needs another one of those books? But when you start to go and understand how people think, their psychology, the fact that they want to hear it from a different source. Sometimes you hear the same stuff over and over again. It don't matter. It don't resonate the same way. So people are looking for that new sound. It's almost like when music, you're like, yo, dag, like that's Michael Jackson combined. Like when Chris Brown came out, man, Michael Jackson wasn't at his prime, but Chris Brown was like this generation's version of Michael Jackson. Right. So the reality is, why can't you be this generation's version of blah, blah, blah? Why don't you own a decade? Go own a decade. You be the guy who
that's a dream right there. Oh, he say own a decade.
Go own a decade. You were like, yo, I want to own a car. No, go own 10 years. Like go own 10 years where people are like, yo, this dude from 2020 to 2030, ain't nobody could touch that dude. For those 10 years, that dude, like he was just a stock that just wasn't coming down. Like it was just stay rising. And it's funny because, and this is why I love doing these conversations. I never used the word own a decade before. But now we talking and all of a sudden you got my bubble boiling and stuff. And I'm like, yo, hold on. Let me write it down. I'm about to own a decade. Like, forget owning a crib. I'm going to own a whole 10 years. Although this pandemic feels like a decade. But That's a whole different story for a whole different day. But but it's exciting, man. I love books. I love the potential that it has. Information is super powerful. And giving people access to it is important. And the thing with Geos Gems, man, why I was so adamant about putting it out there is because I've been able to be connected with some amazing people who I know the people who's reading my book will never have access to. Like, they're never going to meet a Ryan Lee, a Paul Reddick. They're not going to meet a Mike Geary. They're not going to meet these people. And so because of it, I have to, my way of being of service is to be the bridge that connect those two worlds together. And my book is that bridge, you know, and so you guys can do that too. So some of us might think, I ain't an expert in nothing. Can you connect two worlds? Can you connect two worlds? Like, think about that. Guys, we pay to cross the bridge. There's a toll. Can you be the toll booth? like
That's heavy.
Can you just be the toll booth? So you dealing with your imposter syndrome, talking about I ain't got no PhD after my name. Oh, you don't know, I didn't graduate high school and stuff. And it's like, so you start to diminish your life experiences. And I'm here to tell you, like, there is something of value you have. Stop asking what you ain't got. Start asking what you have, and then leverage what you have. And when you do that, you'll start to open yourself up to opportunities and worlds that will give you access to more opportunities, which will help you become bigger, better, and whatever.
So I got a question for you, man, because I know you said don't diminish what you have. So, and this is like a rehash of our conversation, but
yeah,
somebody out there like, yo, well, man, I know my story gonna help somebody, but who really want to hear my story? You know, how do we connect those two worlds? You know, somebody like me, like, I don't know how we talk about how to connect the world, but I'm from the hood, my experiences, and I want to help this child, or my, you know, my health scare, and I want to help these people not experience that, but all I got is my story at this point.
Yeah, that's a great question. And what I will tell you is, and those who's watching, is that your story is powerful, but it's only powerful if it's a supporting actor. If it's a supporting actress. Let me tell you what I mean by that. When someone reads your book and it's supposed to be transformational or supposed to inspire them or something, I don't really care about your story, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't care about your story. I care about my story. Now, if you're going to use your story to help me write mine, then we're good. But if you're going to tell me your story just so that I can go and read your diary about how you live, I don't care about your diary. You could keep that to yourself. But if you could go and tell me, yo, this is my experiences of what I dealt with some depression back in the days. Well, now you tell me that story, but you tell it to me in the context of a lot of times in life, we go through things where we can't even stomach or muster up the energy to be able to do something. Do anybody know what that's like when you like wake up in the morning, but you still feel like it's night? Like, you just like, the sun is out, but it's still just dark on the inside. Like, I don't see light. I know what that feels like because there was this event that happened to me, and that immediately shifted me into a deep depression. And here's some of the tools that I use to get out of that so that you too can go and wake up tomorrow and see that sunlight for real. At that moment, right? Like, that's me using my story, but at the center of what I just said was you, not me. All I did, like, you the main picture. I want you to think about your story as ornaments on a tree.
Ornaments.
It's ornaments on a tree. Ain't nobody going to say that's a nice Christmas tree just because of ornaments. It needs to be hung on something. Ornaments need the tree.
So your story is the ornaments and not the tree, not the main.
Nah, and what happens is when we want to fight to be the person in the driver's seat, we don't realize that the person who's the reader, who purchased your book, who invested in your book, who's exchanging their time to read your book, you got to understand that They don't like to go and play sit on the passenger seat. They want to be the driver. They want to be the star. And so the minute they start to read someone who's like a tug of war where they fighting to be the star of the show, they immediately go, you know what, man, you got that. You could go and sing that song by yourself. We leaving, man. Like, we ain't gonna stay here for this.
We out. It's like clicking on the Born Live.
Yeah, they out. And that's the tough part. Where this is the toughest thing for me to explain to people when they write their books, because everyone has been told you have a story.
Right.
And I'm not dismissing that. However, what we haven't been told is how to position our story for the best success.
Whoa.
It's positioning. It's not that your story don't have value, but it's almost like we're doing it out of order. Like if you're looking almost like math. Yo, if you start doing division before you did the work in the parentheses, you getting the answer wrong. There's an order of operations. So if you can go and put your story in the right order, you will have the amazing impact. And that whole, even if you were like, yo, I'm doing it so I could get shine, you're not going to shine if the people reading your book don't shine. Wow. So if somebody read Geos Gems and they're like, yo, Geo, man, when you said in gem number 52, act the part and then you'll get the part. Yo, I started doing that. I stopped waiting for people to call me. I started picking up the phone. I started dressing a certain way. I had business cards because I'm a CEO now. I got a Google Voice number so that when people call, it's like legit. It ain't gonna be like, yo, your hip hop song in the background and your answering machine or whatnot. I got a Google Voice now, so it goes and says, "Hold on, we're connecting you to the whatever." That sounds legit. That almost sounds like you got a secretary now. So now it feels official. But you start acting that way or before because you believe that that's where you're supposed to be. You don't act the part now to get the part later if you don't believe that you were supposed to have the part. Wow. So my friend, when I wrote in the book, she said, yo, G, I want to buy a car. I said, yo, listen, you could buy the car, but here's what I want you to understand. Start acting like you got the car right now. She said, what you talking about? I said, start making payments towards the car right now. You ain't got to have the car to go and do that. Do that right now. So she started putting some money aside. And then when she was ready to go and buy the car, she said, yo, Gio, I got 8 months worth of car payments saved up in that account. And now it's muscle memory. She don't even have to go and try to learn how to do it. I've been doing it.
Right. So
now the car, you ain't got to worry about, damn, this joint going to get repossessed. I got to start learning about how to build a habit right now. I mean, it was cool having this car for 20 days, but I ain't make it all the way. I don't want you to see your car on the tarmac with the person coming and picking it up, man. Like, I don't know. I'm saving you from that embarrassment. Start acting the part right now. So for you who's looking to write a book, that might look like a blog post for today. That might be a blog post today. That might be being a guest on a podcast. You might have a friend who's like, yo, I'm starting a podcast. Don't act brand new and be like, yo, how many viewers you got? Oh, you ain't got nobody watching? You know what? When you come up, I'll come on. Nah. Come on, get on at ground level so that when the person get to the penthouse, you could say, yeah, I was with them when they were shooting in the gym. I was with them.
Hey, that's like this, like I'm doing right now, because I'm like, yo, I got a heavy hitter. So you better believe at the end, I'm gonna be trying to like, yo, what I need to work on, boom, 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 acting like I'm already in that position. And because my mama used to tell me something from when I got in trouble. She was like, boy, when you go back to that school, you better act as if I'm in that classroom with you. And then when I got a little older, I remember, man, going for a Fortune 500 job, supervisor position. She like, I'm telling her, Mom, I'm nervous. I'm not going to get this. She like, boy, before that interview, going up to it, you better act like you already have that job. And leading up to it, I started going in every day, telling myself, I am this supervisor. And my whole demeanor changed. Guess what? I got it. You know, so that I totally believe that.
Yeah.
I hope y'all can believe it. Like it's power in that, because your thinking controls your emotions and the emotions control action. And then we was just talking about what was it, Gym 47, practice makes permanent. You're gonna
It's
permanently
all of that, man.
be a writer.
It's all of that. It's literally getting to the point where now when people start saying, yo, like I could go and so Spike Lee said this. He was like, a movie script is 120 pages, typically, right? 120 pages. He said, if you write 4 pages a day, you'll have your script done in a month. If you just write 4 pages a day, 120 is hard to conceptualize right now. But if you could just do 4 pages a day for 30 days, you're gonna have the script done. And so when I say that to you, like people look at me now and I'm like, yo, I could write a book in a day. I could write a book in like 2 days. They're like, what are you talking about? You could do it in 2 days. I got a process. I got this stuff to science, but my muscle memory is there. But here's the key thing though, Cedric, like the biggest thing is I don't start writing from an empty page. I've been writing my book. I'm always writing it. So when you go and see my quote Rolodex and you're like, dang, Gio got 300 quotes in there. When you see my Evernote and you're like, yo, Dad, he been collecting stories since 2012. When you start seeing that, all of a sudden, when it comes to writing, I'm not starting from a blank page. The car already warmed up.
Right.
The car warmed. So it's like the car already in motion. I just got to jump on. So I think it's important if you want to build that momentum. There's a thing I talk about in some of my speeches where like the power of momentum is crazy. We all experience it, but it's not always in our favor. So if you got like a losing streak, that's a momentum. It's just not going in your favor though. But if you're in a winning streak, there's a momentum. It's like those guys. I was watching basketball last night, and Damian Lillard is hitting 35-foot 3-pointers. I'm like, yo, you mad disrespectful. Like, you just going to pull up from the But when they asked him, where do you get this confidence to be shooting these ridiculous shots? He said, in the off season, that's what I was doing. I was putting in that part. I was acting the part early so that when the lights come on, I'm going to show out. So now we looking at it. And this is something I want everyone who's watching this to understand. Everyone is going to find out about you late. Everyone is going to find out about you late. If they find out about you early, that means you ain't believe in yourself. So you need to go and understand, yo, I'm my best cheerleader. I'm believing in me the most. Everyone gonna catch on late. It's like somebody who told you, if I told you right now, yo, you should buy stock in Apple, the party done, bro. That was a long time ago. But you know what I'm saying? You got to get in there when the ground was early. I remember a story Kevin Hart was talking about how his friend Troy Carter had told him, yo, you want to go and buy into Uber? And Kevin Hart like, nah, I'm good, man. I ain't putting no money into that. Now he like, dang, I wish I did, right? But Beyonce, when she got that call, she jumped on. And she eating good off that investment. Right? But she got in early. The people who's listening to you, who's watching you, so like they're watching the man cave right now, and it's like, okay, well, it ain't where it can be. But the reality is that they're gonna find out later, and all these episodes are gonna be receipts because people are gonna want to see your growth. So stop diminishing small beginnings. Embrace your small beginnings so that when people see you in the penthouse, they appreciate the come up. But you got to come from somewhere. Don't despise the fact that you're coming from the ground level. You're going to come up and people going to see all your receipts. All of that stuff is going to add up, you know, when you keep doing it. So anyone you find, go anyone. This is a hack. I didn't think I was going to share this on here, but I'll tell you guys this. Go to a website. I believe it's called waybackmachine.org, or just Google Wayback Machine. You ever heard of this, Cedric? You ever heard of this?
I think I've seen Wayback, but I haven't really messed around with it too much.
This joint is next level when I tell you this. You go to Wayback, and here's the reason why I do this exercise. You go Google Wayback Machine, you'll see it's like an online web archive. And it saves screenshots of what websites used to look like years ago. So we all looking at Apple. And we like, dang, they just in the news talk about they just hit the 2 trillion mark, whatever. Ridiculous. I remember being in college. This was 2002 to 2006. I'm in college. They had computer labs. On the right side, there was Apple computers. On the left, Dell computers. No one went to the right. No one touched the Apple computers, people.
I remember.
I want you to go. No one touched it. Now I'm on. Now I got an iPhone, iWatch. I got Apple laptop. I got this, that, headphones, all these things. But I never would touch it in 2002. When I go and say, "Yo, relax," your come up is coming. If you go to Wayback Machine and you type in Apple.com and go back to 1998, you're gonna see what their website used to look like.
Wow.
And when you look at it, you're gonna cringe. You're gonna be like,
I'm gonna have to check that out.
That computer, the computers with the gray in the front and the light pink and green. It was mad colorful. Y'all was doing the most. And they transformed themselves. They transformed themselves, bro, and made it like we want to be sleek, minimalist, clean, nice, everything. But look at their come up. So for all of us, I want you to go and realize, appreciate where you at and believe that you ain't gonna be where you at for long as you keep on working.
And almost what I'm hearing, man, in the short term is live the story you trying to write.
Yeah. 100%. And you can't skip it. This is you can't skip it. This is not an elevator, man. These are stairs. You're gonna have to walk up them stairs for this one. You can't just go push a button and go to the next floor. So you want to appreciate that. But like you said, one of my mentors told me this, and I never realized this. I said, "Yo, man, I'm scared to do this because what if I fail?" He said, "But Geo, here's the cool thing about it." And then when he said this, it changed my whole perspective about failure. He said, "Geo, how do you get a rags to riches story if you ain't got no rags?" I said, "Well, dang." He said, "How many people you've seen who's successful and they were like, yo, here's where I started," and they told you about their failure. So at the best thing, when you try something, if you fail, that becomes part of the story.
Wow. Yeah, you know what, man? That's so true. Because I'm like, you can't. And then it's almost like any movie, I think any stable mind person, if you go to a movie and it's just all good from the beginning, you're gonna walk out. But the first 10 minutes, you gotta have something. You gotta have some.
It's that story arc. You gonna go. The person got a dream. They pursue it. They hit a roadblock. It's like the movie. One of my favorite movies is The Pursuit of Happiness. When Will Smith in there. Could you imagine if they were like, yo, he just went ahead and was just selling stuff on the company and everything was great? You're like, nah. But when you start seeing him with his son in the bathroom, when you see him trying to sell those scanners and the doctor says, we don't really need this. When you see that he's living in motels and he can't even go and pay that, that's what made me go and say, shucks, man, I start rooting for him. I'm like, yo, dad, man, I'm rooting for this guy to catch a break. And then when he catch a break, you just go and he goes and he triumphs. You go with him. But you got to understand, what if he didn't have that part? What if, I believe his name is Mr. Gardner. I forgot his first name. But what if he didn't have that, Chris Gardner? What if Chris Gardner did not have that story? What about Les Brown when he said, yo, I was so broke that when I had my office, I had to sleep on the floor because I couldn't afford to go and pay for an apartment. And I had to wake up early so that the people who was cleaning the building didn't think I slept here. But what if he ain't had that story? We go and see him speak at the Georgia Dome in front of 30,000. We're like, yo, that's amazing. But the amazing part is that guy's story started with someone who was medically retarded in school. So when I hear that as his story, I'm like, what the heck can I do then? Right. But he has to share the things that you are ashamed of. I want you to get healing from it. I don't want you to share it just for the sake of sharing it, just to get a bunch of awes. I'm not looking. Don't just go get the sympathy. But once you heal from those things that you've shamed, that's brought you shame, whether it's going to a therapist, talk through that. Talk through that. Like talk through what you're going through. Then you can go ahead and help people with it. And the thing that you've been ashamed of is literally the thing that opens up the door that will let people in. When I tell you I've done something bad, it makes me look human. No one wants to go. We can't relate to superheroes. Like
nobody wants that perfection.
Nah, the only reason,
like, man, your life is not that peachy cream every day.
No, it's not. So when you look at Superman and he changes, he becomes Clark Kent. We all have some kind of deficiency. We all got something we lacking.
Right.
If we go own that and be like, yo, I just posted on Instagram. Yo, here's a video I did. Y'all don't even understand. This was like 100 takes to get this video right. I shared the bloopers. I'm like, yo, I saved my bad videos so that I could remember that greatness is not in a moment. Greatness is developed over time.
Right. Hold on. Say that one more again for everybody, man.
So I keep these bad reels on my phone. I got these bad videos that I did that I should delete. They take up space, but I keep them because it reminds me that greatness is not a moment. Greatness is something that develops over time. So I need to go and remind myself, this is not a microwave. It's oven made. This is crock pot. This is like, it's going to take a moment, but when it come out, you're going to see that rib is going to fall off the bone. But you got to let that thing sit in there for a little while for it to get to that point.
So you mean to tell me LeBron didn't just come out? Kobe didn't just come out. Kobe, what?
You get out of here, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the Michael Jordans coming out in sophomore year, not making the team. Like, no one is born that way. If you look at all of us, when we came out the womb, I ain't seen I promise y'all, none of y'all started running.
Right.
None of y'all started running. Y'all was crying. Y'all could barely turn over. When it was a big deal when you finally started to figure out that you could crawl, and then when you started to try to walk, you ain't walk. You was holding on to the sofa, and you was waddling, and then you took away from it, and then over time, now you don't even think about your steps. You run, you put right foot. You don't go right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. You don't do that. It's muscle memory. It's like a habit. It just becomes like clockwork for you now. So the thing is, you got to go through the process so that the clockwork part come in. It don't come in if you take it out of the oven too soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure you leave it in there so that it gets what it's supposed to get, so that you don't got to go and put it back in again and start the process all over.
Right. Because I know I did that plenty of times, man. And that's interesting, man, how you was talking about your story, right? Because in the past couple of months since we talked and me starting this process of writing my book, it's been so therapeutic, man. So therapeutic, and changing me in my everyday life, just being able to not necessarily relive, but just revisit those moments and being able to share it. And it's just been life-changing, man. And I know without it, I know in my hearts of hearts, man, like, a book is probably the most unselfish thing any human being can put out there.
Yeah, when done correctly,
immortalized.
100%. Yeah.
You immortalized if you write a book until the end of the world. It's a book. It ain't going nowhere.
Forever that book is going to be around. Like, you know, and again, there's not a lot of work we do that lasts that long.
Right.
This is one of those things that lasts a lifetime. You could leave it to your children. You could leave it to their children, their children. And one of the things, and this was like a surreal moment for me. One of these, a kid in my church, I'm very good friends with his mom and his dad. He's 7 years old. Every time I see him, he just ignore me. He never pay attention to me, bro. Never. Like, what up, Gio? Give me a little pound, sympathy pound. Like, he just bothering me, get out my face. I write my book. His parents buys the book. He watches his parents read it. So we have an event, and he goes, Gio, he's looking for me. Now, he never looked for me. He looking for me now. So my wife goes, yo, Gio, why is he asking for you all of a sudden? He comes up to me, he says, Gio, you wrote that book, right? I said, wow. He said, you wrote that book? I said, I wrote a book? He said, yeah, my mom and dad was reading it this morning. So now I'm sitting here like, oh, snap. So now I'm somebody, and sometimes we'll be trying to please older people, our peers, a 7-year-old. He ain't got no rubric on what success is or not. But he looking at me and he's like, yo, man, you wrote a book. I saw your face on the cover. My parents was reading it this morning. And I'm sitting here like, oh, snap, look at this attention I'm getting. And I've always thought the only way I can get that attention was if I could dunk a basketball or score a touchdown.
Wow. Changing lives and almost instantly, for lack of a better term, commanding respect, if you will.
Right.
And not willingly, but I mean, it's just like, oh, wow. And it almost makes you, oh, man, it's gonna sound crazy, but I already know y'all listening gonna know what your boy mean by this. It establishes that you are somebody, because the world doesn't really know. I mean, that's the reality of it. The world doesn't really know you, and now this little 7-year-old boy just saw you and saw your name on the book, and it's like, whoa. That's somebody right there. Like, let me pay attention.
It's important. I know I've gotten this a lot more from the people that I've talked from this book than the first one. But this one, a lot of people have been hitting me up saying, yo, I know the author. Like, there's a difference. Like, they're like, I know the author. The author's name is in my address book. I've got his number. And I can't help but think like, and here's the thing, when they give me that energy, I'm able to give it back. I'm like, yo, guys, I want you to understand, I'll go to the bathroom. I don't pee on one leg. I don't hop. I don't do no magic trick.
My breath stink in the morning like yours.
My wife tell me go chew gum. My breath stink too. Right? So like, I'm human, but then when they see it, I'm like, guys, what is your version of it now?
Wow.
Mine was a book. Is yours the event planning business? Is yours the speaking career? Is yours the person who's going to make a documentary that's going to go and win at the New York City Tribeca Festival? I don't know what it is, but the reason why the book is born is so that I can go and help you believe that you have something worth birthing.
Wow. Say, man, I was while you were talking, man, I was just thinking, I was still scared when we first got on the phone and you were talking to me about it. But then, man, we got to a point in that conversation where you asked me a question. I can't remember it verbatim, but it lit a fire like in my soul, because I felt like this would be the biggest regret I would have if I died, would be not writing my book. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember what you asked me?
I think one of the things, let me see if I could bring it back, but I think the biggest thing was like, you were saying, if one person gets this, it would have been all worth it. And then I asked you, well, when is it okay for that person not to get it?
Man.
Because that person is looking for it, and you, what's your reason for why they ain't gonna have it? The person who's done it
again. What's your reason?
What is it? What's your reason? I wanted an extra 30 minutes of sleep. Who do I think?
Was worried about what people might think about.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was gonna write about. I didn't know. I don't know, basically. That's not.
But the person who need your book, they don't care. I need your book. I didn't say I want it. I need it like air. I need it like someone. If I don't drink water for 3 days, I'm gonna die. Like, I need it on that level. And so why would you? I don't care. Like, I tell people all the time, if you feel imposter syndrome, if you feel inadequate, I ain't telling you to get rid of it. Pack that in the bag too on the way to where you going. Just don't, keep moving though. Don't go and say, well, I'll get rid of this and then I'll do that. Nah, pack it in the bag too. This thing is too important for you to figure out how to get rid of it. It ain't about how to get rid of it. When you start doing the work, the imposter syndrome starts to shrink. It don't go away until the work has been done. So right now, imposter syndrome got a lead. You need to go and make some baskets so you could close the lead up. That's just the facts of life. But when you start, my mentor told me that question, and that's why I brought it up to you. Is like, when is it okay for that person to not have your book? When is it okay? And when you answer that question, if you really get in tune with it, the answer should be never. It's never okay for that person to not get something that could ultimately save their life. Somebody, bro, there are many people, and I had this happen to me before several occasions, where I've met people face to face, and based on our interaction, I could tell what they prayed for that morning. And when I mean what they prayed for that morning, I could tell they said, God, you say there's people who care about people out here. All right. Today, I'm making a decision on just today. If nobody give me no attention and no one recognizes me or sees me, then I'm going to take that as feedback that I don't need to be on this earth, and I'm going to kill myself. You say that I'm worth something. All right, well, let me see. And I met someone, and I saw them asking for money, and nobody gave it. And I told this guy, I said, yo, man, I ain't going to give you no money. I'm going to take you to the store, get you something to eat right now. And he's like, what? I said, all right, you hungry? Yeah, man. I said, I bet. Then he told me, yo, I don't got an ID. I got to go to a homeless shelter tonight. They won't let you in without an ID. I said, dang, man, how much you need for the ID, man? So I need $10. I said, yo, you going to get the ID? He said, yeah, I'm going to get the ID, man. I gave him $10. After I did that, he said to me, you know what, bro? I really just got to thank you, man. I said, no, don't mention it. He said, no, it's not about the money. I've been standing in front of a church. I've been standing in front of all these amazing people who look like they got it all together, and they don't even look at me. You could have said, if they had said no, that would have been kind. They don't even look at me. So for you to spend the last 15 minutes with me, you bought me a sandwich from Starbucks, you bought me something to drink, you gave me my $10 so I could get an ID, so I could go to the homeless shelter and not sleep on the train station this time. I appreciate you for seeing me. Bro, like that. So that's what I'm saying. When like we have an opportunity to be able to impact people on that level through a book. Somebody might go and say, yo, man, shucks, I'm running out of options. I don't know what else to turn to. They open up a book and you read your book, and the book says, listen, man, let me go and look at it. I'm gonna pull out a gem, one of the gems that I love in this book, bro.
I'm just looking at it and hearing that. I'm like, yo, this book is 52. Man, it could have almost been 52 reasons not to kill yourself. Like,
bro, it's positivity at an all-time high. Like literally just giving them perspective, teaching them patience, teaching them don't worry about perfection. Talking about, there's one thing in here I says the practice is always longer than the game. Everybody want to play in the game. Yo, I want to be at the Super Bowl. You know how it took 9 months for those two teams to get to the Super Bowl?
Right.
You know, you talking about it's a 3-hour event, but they've been preparing for 9 months for it. And only 32 teams tried to get in or whatever, and only 2 got an opportunity. If you understand that practice is longer, you'll start to not hate practice. It's supposed to be longer than the show.
Right.
But most people don't expect that. They're like, yo, dag, man, why I'm doing all this work? Because the practice is longer. That's why you're doing all this work. You're going to get 10 seconds of fame, but you've been preparing for them 10 seconds for 10 years. But no one spits that. No one gives us the game. So no one puts us on to say, yo, man, you've been talking about how long is it going to take? Let me ask you a question. How long do you want it to last?
Right. And that's what I love. I'm not even gonna lie, man. That's what I loved about you. Just you genuine. You know what I'm saying? And it really, really did come across, because we was just chopping it up before I even really came at you on some help stuff. We was just like, oh, just kind of chopping it up on social media through NAMCA and all that. Dude, just all right, that's a cool cat. And then like, yo, for real, you just like, yo, just hit me up. Let's get on the phone call right now. Like, bro, let me bless your game, like, for free. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like, yo, like, this is what we need. And it was some simple, easy to digest stuff. Just like I
yeah,
know it's in How to Get Your First Book Done. This burned in me because I feel like everybody need to hear this, and this was that first step
yeah.
you gave me. And they like, okay, man, I'm hyped. I gotta get it out there. That'll be my biggest regret. Like, what's something they could probably, once they finish watching this, go to their phone or their laptop or whatever and do right now to get started?
Bro, I would say this. I want you to write out the summary of your book. Here's why I'm telling you to write the summary of your book. You want to write the summary because the summary is the totality of what you're writing. No one's going to write a summary if they ain't going to write the book. I want you to think about it from that perspective. I want you to think about it because here's the thing. When you go and do podcast interviews, people are going to ask you a summary of your book. Yo, tell me what your book is about. They don't want to hear 10 chapters. They want to hear the 60-second version of that. If you're on TV, it's 30 seconds, right? You don't have that much time. So I want you to do this. And it doesn't really matter what the activity is. The key thing is don't get full off hype. I want you to get full of something of substance. So I want you to do something today that's going to move you towards your book. So if that's writing a summary, if that's going and putting a post on social media saying, hey guys, if you heard I was writing a book, what would it be on? And people just start writing comments. Yo, Cedric, if you wrote a book, it would be about like, yo, man, how to go from blah, 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 from the hood to the penthouse, whatever, or like how to win when nobody expect you to, whatever the case is. But you put that post out there, and here's what that post does. That post puts them in the back of their mind. Is Cedric writing a book? Why are you asking that question if you're going to? So now they're going to ask you, yo, you writing a book? Now, here's the cool thing. When they start asking you what that mean, they looking. So now what's your excuse? Because your first excuse was, I don't know if no one cares. Well, now people is looking. So now what's your excuse? Next, right? Tell me the next one. Tell me the next excuse. Well, I don't know how to write it. Well, that's cool if you were born in 1901, but now we got YouTube.com. We got people like myself who wrote a book, and it's a free resource I want to get people on here. I did a masterclass with my mentor named Morel Moody, and we did a whole hour and a half of pure heat. A matter of fact, somebody texted me right afterwards and said, Gio, I got 9 pages worth of notes from this joint. This is ridiculous. I'm giving people access to the replay. This is stuff that we wasn't going to post after a week, but I got the replay. I bootlegged it. I got the replay. The website is yourfirstbookdone.com. Yourfirstbookdone.com. You go to that, you put your name, you put your email address, and it'll give you access to the masterclass. We're talking about 90 minutes. So we talk about, Gio, how do you write a book? Gio, how do I know the idea is good? Gio, how do I position my story? Gio, how do I go and make sure my stuff look professional? Gio, how do I get my stuff done in a timely fashion? Gio, is it possible for me to finish writing my book in 2020, even though September around the corner? We answer those questions. All of that is going to be in that masterclass. So anybody who, at the very least, if you're like, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to get started, put your name and email address on that website right there. That's on the bottom of the screen. This technology is crazy. Right? So on the bottom of the screen, you see it. Go on there, put your name and email address, and then watch the video. Do not go and put your name and email address and be like, yo, that's cool, man. I feel like I got it. No, you don't got it because you didn't watch it yet. Watch it, see it. For those who've seen it, I'm telling you, it changes the game, because once it gives you that clarity. You're like, oh, this is what it looked like. This was what could happen. When you talk about, like my mentor Arel's talking about, I sold 5,000 books, and they're like, oh, that's so fire. But then he dropped the gem on you and say, to one person bought.
I was like, wait.
Like, you could sell you can get a partner that will do that. As a matter of fact, one of the contracts I got with California, they couldn't buy my services outright, but they wanted it. But they had to go and say something in the paperwork that would be allowed, and books was allowed. So they bought, I think it was like, dang, it must have been like over $10,000 worth of books from one person. That can't happen if your first book is not done.
So Geos Gems is like your calling card, your resume.
Bro, this book right here,
your PhD.
This is the most loyal employee that I have. This employee, I ain't gotta pay no health insurance for it. It give me, y'all want to talk about friends with benefits? This is one of them. This is a friend with benefit right here. Like, this is a friend with benefit. Like it works every day. Amazon.com is 24/7. So you could go on Amazon.com right now, type in Geos Gems. Don't click on the first link. I didn't write that erotica book. That's not me. The second link on that page is me, and you'll see my face. You'll see on there, but it's always available. It's always available. So now I got this thing working for me. I could easily go and say, hey, a matter of fact, this is what I did. The people in my course, the first book done course, system, I send them all a copy of this as a free gift. Bro, when they saw the book, they said they didn't know it was coming. So I sent it first class. I wanted it to be like official. So I sent it to them and they touched it and they were like, you mean this is what my book gonna feel like? My book is gonna feel like this? They started to believe in the dream even more so because they were holding somebody else's dream that came true.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I felt that, you know, and I got a couple of author friends, but for whatever reason, man, this one hit a little different, and it's probably because you helping people actually write books,
yeah,
and I'm following the steps that you given, and it's like,
yeah,
it's really coming. It's coming. Like, yo,
it's there, man. I'm excited for those who are watching. We're at a time now where the amount of people reading books have gone up because they have to find something to do. Yeah. If they're looking, this is the time to start throwing your name in the ring. Go and people fishing. If they told you, yo, this is where you could go and find a pot of gold, this address, everybody would go to it. Guys, this is the time to write your book. There's no time like the present to write your book. So go on there. You can get the books. If y'all need motivation, you're like, yo, I need to go and get inspired. Get Geos Gems. Get The Thirst Is Real so you can see it. Sometimes the reason why we don't believe something could happen is because it's too far from us. Mm-hmm. Right? Your dreams feel like Pluto, but you living on Earth.
I'm just giving y'all, if you don't mind, Geo, just some random ones, because to me, I already told them, like, everyone, I read one and I'm like, yo, that's fine, that's my one, and I read the next, I'm like, nope, our changes aren't bad. Now, these just the gems, and then he goes into it and breaks it down.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna just give you the gem, and it's so thought-provoking. All changes are bad. Go.
No, so
encouragement goes a long way. Like how you were saying.
It's crazy because even when we think about like the one you said, all changes aren't bad. We immediately take change once we like, yo, dag, something different. It's because we came up when we said something was bad. We said, oh, you different. That's not a compliment per se. So now all of a sudden we interpret different as negative. We interpret changing courses as negative. But if I'm in an abusive relationship, am I supposed to stay in that? And some of us, if we're honest, the abusive relationship is with yourself.
You hear me?
You doing it to yourself. Yo, I ain't never gonna be nothing. Why you keep talking to yourself like that? Yo, you a loser, man. What make you think you're gonna be able to do that? You know what you used to do? You know what you used to be? You know what crowd you used to hang around? And you're like, yo, why are you verbally abusing yourself? Les Brown says it like this. He says, yo, stop convicting. Your future self has never committed a crime, so stop convicting him of it.
Ooh, I remember
your
that.
Future self never said, didn't do that. So like, yo, free yourself. Forgive yourself. I'll talk about that in the book. Someone needs forgiveness, and that person is you. Someone needs to be forgiven, and you need to forgive you. We talk about all changes are not bad, guys. If you go the wrong direction, you're supposed to change. You're not supposed to keep on going. Nah, you got to do that. When you talk about there's another one in here. Like,
I'm going on what you were just talking about.
Yeah,
you can catch the new while holding on to the old, and that TD Jakes story. Oh, yeah. Y'all, if you don't see that, go and check out number 22 and that TD Jakes story and that beach book.
Bro, it's so powerful when you talk about like, yo, I want these new things. Well, if you want new beginnings, then then they gotta be some old endings. Yeah, the old gotta end for you to have a new beginning. Like,
go and try to put your new bed where your old bed is right now. Let me know how that work out.
It don't work. You have to throw some stuff out, people. Some stuff gotta throw. You can't go and put stuff. You don't be a hoarder. Throw some stuff out and get you some new things. Don't go and keep on holding on to those old things. That's the definition of insanity. They say is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Yo, guys, let's stop being insane. Let's start going ahead and let's start doing some new things. If we want to see a new future, you're going to have to do some new nows. Like I said, your later is at the mercy of your now. That's another gem in the book. Because I used to love now laters back in the days when I was a kid. And I never realized the connection. I looked at it now. I'm like, yo, I love now and laters. And now I'm thinking about, yo, my later is at the mercy of my now. My tomorrow is begging. Cedric, the version of you 5 years from now is begging for you to show up today because it can't do nothing to control what is going to happen to that future. They're like, yo, if Cedric take another day off, or if Cedric say, yo, I ain't about to do this, then we got to wait even more. Your future self is begging you to show up today. So these are the things that's in there, man. Like, these are the things that's in the book. These are the things that I'm about, trying to go and help people change their perspective, because I do understand that when our thoughts change, the things that we see change. Mm-hmm. Our thoughts guide it, so as a man thinketh, so is he. I want you guys to start changing the way you think. So when we talk about 52 motivational gems to make your life a masterpiece, we're talking about 52 thoughts that hopefully will reframe the way you look at things so that your life can be in a new frame.
Wow.
Fine, bro.
Because, man, I'm like, yo, we could chop it up all day long. And
easily.
A part of this, what I love, man, is this is me writing my book. This is a part of that story. And being able to connect with a like mind. And y'all, I never would have been at this point had I remained in that fear, had I remained in not knowing. And I wouldn't even know how to have a conversation with this dude at all.
Right.
So get your calling card.
Get yourself a book, man.
I mean, this is your everything. And we got somebody right here in our midst, in the realm, in the bubble of the man cave that y'all now have access to, that has proven stuff. If y'all been watching me, there's some posts I know y'all probably thought came from out of the left. Like, what the hell is this list that Cedric posted? I didn't come up with that. That was something I got from Geo. Believe it or not, I'm at about 20,000 words for my book right now. I haven't typed one word in. That didn't come from, it came from Geo. I found the email you had sent me a long time ago from 0 to 60,000 words. I found it. I was like,
dude.
I was like,
that's another one right there. Sheesh.
Yo, hey, I ain't want to mention because I was like, oh, that my boy probably doing something with that. Y'all
Oh
can
no,
reach
it's in the course. It's in the course for sure.
out.
But it's a bonus
Okay,
material.
okay. Oh, so
Um,
I got that bad boy. Blessing.
you,
I say.
you got it for
But
free. Nah, for sure.
hey, but trust me, when I get to the top with you, hey, we gonna eat. I
Yeah,
get you a meal. We gonna eat. But y'all, we have Geo right here in our midst, and I'm telling y'all from experience. Like I know Geo busy, but he really genuinely mean what he say, and he trying to help people get this done because him helping somebody write a book, he's in that book essentially.
yeah.
So he's helping create a bunch of different legacies, which is ultimately his, and he is here to help. We have him. Let me put it back up there for y'all. So you can go to yourfirstbookdone.com, type your name in there so you can go ahead and get signed up because he bringing that heat. And if you don't know, now you know. Let me put it in front. Geos Gems,
Listen,
52
man.
motivational.
And tell them. I mean, the thing is, you try to get it on Kindle, and your app or whatever wasn't working, so you went and got the physical copy.
Oh
So, like,
yeah, man.
you know what I'm saying? Because it's available for Kindle too. So, you can get it on Kindle. I'm actually working next month on doing the Audible. This is gonna be my first Audible. I never did an audiobook before. I want to do that as well. So, but I remember like when you were like, yo, man, I don't know, I got a sample and whatever. And then you got the physical book. And I'm just loving the fact, more importantly, not even just getting the book. I'm just glad that the gems are blessing you. Like they're helping you. Like that's literally ultimately the goal is that does it get Cedric closer to where he's supposed to be? Not where I want you to go, but does it get you closer to where you want to be? And if the answer is yes, then my book has done its part.
It have, man. Like just reading through it, like I done blazed through it. We almost done. Because it's that kind of read, y'all. It's not some, real neurological, whatever the case, man. It's something where a Marine like old said, old dude from the hood like said, can pick this bad boy up and blaze through it. You ain't gonna want to put it down. And I'll tell you this, especially entrepreneurs that's trying to get presence on social media, you got 52 weeks worth of content right here.
Bro.
Like, and I already just said, and you ain't got to steal his, but start your writing. Intentions don't change anything, intentional actions do. You got all kind of content right there. Just thinking about what is it that I'm not being intentional with? What am I not doing, need to do? What can I be more focused on? Tell your story. Hey, y'all, I've been BSing about this. Or, hey, I've been diligent about that. I ain't stealing his gem. It's provoking me and it's getting me the boy.
Yeah.
He done did it. Drop the
Yeah.
mic. Drop the mic. And then I never would be thinking like this if I wasn't now thinking like a writer. I wake up every day and it's like, yo, I'm a writer. I'm gonna write my book. And that came from Mr. Geo Derice, y'all.
Bro, that's huge. That's huge. I'm excited, man. I'm seeing the journey. I'm seeing the growth, and it's been a joy to see it, man. I'm gonna continue to watch it. I got front row seats.
Yeah.
You know, I got floor seats, so I'm
Front row,
definitely
first class tickets.
100%, bro. 100%. So keep doing your thing, man. I love what you're doing. Continue to do it. People need it. And thank you so much for having me on, man.
Man, thank you for finding the time to come chill with your boy, man. I greatly appreciate it, man. And we appreciate y'all. We ain't gonna hold y'all no much longer. We finna jump off of this thing and chop it up post show for a little bit. And man, hey, we'll holler at y'all next week at Man Cave. All right, y'all.